It's turn on Chronos Day. All right.
Hell yeah. Giga what?
I hate Jigga for being the acceptable term for the N-word. I hate that.
What? No, Will Smith made that word up completely independent of the other word.
Really? Jigga
Yeah.
what?
No,
Will Smith is the president of all black people.
Getting jiggy. What is he saying? Getting niggy with it? Is that what he's trying to say? I don't think that's what he's saying.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Useless Gamers Podcast. My name is Dice. I am your captain of sexiness in video games. With us today, we have our three regular, clients? Whoever these guys are.
Contributors, dude.
Contributors. Clearly, this is going off to a swimming start. It started with a C. I was in the right ballpark. With us first, the loudmouth, Sam. How you doing, Sam?
I'm pretty good today. I'm ready for this podcast.
All right, let's do it. Next, we have Chico.
What's going on? I am also ready for this podcast.
All right, everyone's ready. And we haven't seen him in a while, but it's glad to have him back. We've got Kronos.
What's up? Let me know when we start recording.
Dude, we are recording.
All right. Let's go then.
He is also ready for this podcast.
Clearly, he is very ready for this podcast. All right, and we'll get started with the main topic of the day, which we'll spend the entire podcast talking about Xbox One. Woo! Who's ready for it?
Yeah.
Yay.
Okay, as you can tell, we clearly don't care about the Xbox. So we were talking last week, and the PlayStation 4 sold 1 million copies, and this week Xbox One came out, 1 million units, excuse me. And this week the Xbox One came out and sold how many units, guys?
1 million?
1 million in their first day. So essentially, everyone who's going to buy it seems like they're going to buy it. What do you guys feel about that?
Actually, from what I've seen on it and the reviews that I've seen and the people that I've talked to that actually got one, they said it's pretty cool. And the cool parts about it are hooking it up to the TV. Like, and I don't mean that like in a, I hooked it up. Yay. I mean like hooking your cable through Xbox. And from what I've seen, they've really gone out of their way to make it like this ultimate TV watching machine.
Okay, yeah, they're definitely, they have a video up that showed them using passes, and they did it within the duration of a Vine video. It took them like 8 seconds. It was really fast. Like, again, we have another great piece of hardware. What do you feel about it, Sam?
Honestly, I'll say I looked at some reviews of it, and I hate to say it, but I am more interested in it now that it's actually come out and people are talking about like, hey, it has all these neat functions. But I think that it was a good it was a good place for Microsoft to go. But they're both, the Xbox One is still, the system doesn't have as much oomph as the PS4, and neither of them are going to compete with computers. I mean, if Valve doesn't screw up the Steam box, both PS4 and Xbox are going to be looking really sad if that comes off. So I still think it's a bad call. They should have done a lot more with it.
No. They're pretty much using the same motherboard, right? When you say one doesn't have as much oomph as the other, they're pretty much using the same systems.
A lot of their specs they've looked at them, and aside from the aspect ratio for some of the games, they essentially are running some of the same
It's pretty much similar. I mean, the only thing I would say about the Xbox One and the PS4, I guess, is the release titles. I guess more people are. Xbox One has some better release titles, I gotta admit, than PS4, especially PS4 when it launched those 3 titles, and one of them ended up being a real disappointment.
I don't.
Which one are you referring to?
The Lego-esque game where you could smash other Lego-esque people and you get bigger Avengers? And bigger. And what was it called again?
Wasn't it the Avengers Lego game?
No. It wasn't Legos. It wasn't Legos. It came out for PS4. Are you
talking about Knack?
Oh, Knack.
Yes,
Knack.
They didn't lose that.
That's
just
not
out
a
in a
Lego.
piece of...
No,
yeah,
it was Lego-esque.
Essentially...
It reminded me of.
That was not even close to a Lego.
Well, here's what I'm gonna say, and I think you're wrong, man. The PS4, if on day one the third-party company could not get, Battlefield 4 to run, or no, it was Call of Duty. I'm sorry. On day one, Call of Duty, whatever number it's at. What are we at? 4? Are we at 5? What number are we at with Call of Duty?
We're in 4.
Six,
Oh wait,
four-
no,
14?
no, that's Battlefield.
10.
There's
No.
too
No,
many
Call
of
of Duty
these
Ghosts.
games.
That's what it's called, Call of Duty Ghosts. With Call of Duty Ghosts, they couldn't get 1080p on the Xbox. I understand that there might be something, they might find ways to squeeze it out, and that in the long run, Microsoft is going to have, comparable stats to the PS4, but I think it's really telling. I just think it's really telling that that a company could not get the same game to have similar quality levels, especially going from 720p to 1080p is just huge, man. It's huge. You can totally see the difference on your computer when you're playing.
Well, you're
on my
referring
computer.
to how they
He's referring
locked
to
it
the
at 720?
resolutions.
No, I
Yeah,
know that, but I'm saying that didn't they lock it at 720, the Xbox 360?
Yeah, so that was so that they could get the frame rate of approximately 60 frames a second.
I think they were
believe.
actually supposed to. Well, in the future they might, fix that later on. But
They might, and that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. They might pull it out in the future, but I think it's really telling that they couldn't figure it out right away. And they had the same amount of time with the PS4 that they did with the Xbox One, basically. I would assume they got the dev kits within a month or two of each other.
My feeling with both of those systems is that we've started to see some like differentiation. Like I really feel like PS4 is about the games and still focused on games, and that's the market they want to be in. And Xbox has really taken a turn to try and be that all-in-one entertainment system, jack of all trades, sitting on your, entertainment stand.
Oh yeah, they definitely have, and I think that's what they're going for, really. I think it's way too early to tell right now. I mean, obviously we're all
Yeah.
pretty hype about these. I mean, these release titles aren't, they aren't making us crazy. They've got some decent ones. I mean, an Xbox One. A lot of people are talking about the Rise. A lot of people, even though it got delayed, I mean, talking about, was Watch Dogs for Xbox One or was that PS4?
it's a PS4 exclusive, I think.
Oh well, never mind. But that doesn't matter because I got pushed back anyway. So we're all waiting for these games, and it'll be interesting to see what comes out. But it's too early to tell. We got two great pieces of hardware. We'll stay on top of them as we keep going. And are we gonna question? Are any of you guys gonna buy the Xbox One?
I think right now it's gonna be a more popular system. I was planning on getting it, but the more affordable thing to do would be getting a PS4. So I guess that's what I'm going with.
All right. What about you, Sam? It seems like for Kronos the trigger is priced there. What do you think, Sam?
If I had to buy one and I owned a TV, I would buy the Xbox today.
Why?
If I had to buy one today, I would buy the Xbox because I already have my computer for every game that I already want, and then what I would want would be the functionality that I've been reading about with the Xbox, which really pains me to say because I was one of those people who was so pissed at E3 when Microsoft announced all the stuff that they were talking about, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, it's a spying machine," and blah blah, all that. Always on. No, you're horrible. I was one of those people, and now, I look at it, and I'm like, you know what? I actually want those features. And so I feel really shitty about that. But yeah, after the launch now, and this is horrible to say, I would buy the Xbox, given that I already have my computer to play games on.
That's an interesting change of mind. It's only been a week, and it's interesting to see how this launch has changed that. Chico, how are you feeling? Have you changed your mind, or are you still kind of indifferent about them? What do you feel?
No, man, I would buy a PlayStation hands down, no question about it. I don't want any of the crap that comes with an Xbox One. I wouldn't use any of it. Like this, I have so many other systems and pieces of equipment that do that, and I just don't need it. If I'm gonna buy a console, I'm gonna buy it to play video games on and with my friends, and that's where the PlayStation 4 has me. And I've always been a PlayStation fan, and I've owned all the systems, and that's just where I'm at. PlayStation.
All right. Well, I'd like to see this good divide. I'm personally going to just hold out and just pray to God that the Steam box is the savior of all gaming. But I guess we'll have to wait a little bit and see for that. All right.
You know what I should have done, man? I should have said,
What?
you know what I'd really like? I think I'm gonna buy an Ouya.
Yeah, that's where we all went wrong.
Yeah,
Oh.
we could all be playing Towerfall right now.
Right now for like what, $100? Yeah.
Yeah, I heard some indie dev talking about their game, and they're like, "We're the #1 game on Ouya right now," and I was like, "Well, that's still cool. Like, good accomplishment. I mean, if I was a little dev and I could get the #1 on Ouya, I'd be happy too." But it was kind of like, "Oh, all right, good job, buddy. So you're still."
We got the most thumbs up on Pornhub. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's essentially it. Congratulations. But anyway, okay, so we're done with the Xbox One. We're all kind of split on it, and really we have to wait and see what happens before we really make any definite decisions. I think it's
way
too early
to judge.
It's too early to judge. Like, this race is close, but they both of them got 1 million sales first day. I believe the PS4 won out a little bit, just by a little bit, but we'll have to see. We gotta wait for the good games to come out. We got to wait for the good sales to come out, and holiday season, Black Friday, right around the corner. So I'll be watching to see what goes on with sales there. But we're going to move on to our next topic, which is really interesting. As YouTubers and Let's Players, we've kind of worked with trying to get our name out there, and one way to do it is live streaming. Live streaming is becoming really huge with video games, because Let's Play videos are, they're not as fresh. They're not as right now. They're not as live and crazy as live TV. And I think Microsoft and Sony have kind of picked up on that. Sony, especially with that share social media button. So right now, it seems like we've got a lot of these game consoles going directly to Twitch TV. What do you guys feel about that?
I think that's good for Twitch. Actually, it's been getting a lot of shine ever since some of these top games are coming out, like League of Legends and a lot of EA competitive type games, and then a lot of people just decided streaming is a pretty good hobby to undertake, and from there you just build yourself up on Twitch. So I think Twitch is doing a good job on connecting with more games, especially with the PS4 or Xbox One that wants to do stuff with them. So, but
is this really necessary? Like,
I don't think it's necessary, because I mean, either way, people are going to get stuff like capture cards and stuff like that to stream their stuff otherwise. But I mean, the fact that they have it there as an option is, that's good, I guess.
Well, here's what I've read about, and what I think about it is, what they've done is they've taken away the need to have a capture card. You're buying your thing, and you don't need to do anything else. It's all integrated. You just hit a button and share it. Because I mean, that's what am I trying to say? How many problems have we had trying to get our stuff to get together? Even syncing up this podcast has been hard sometimes, and like having an easy way for normal people to get at streaming is going to be huge. The same way Facebook created an easy way for people to share their lives. Everyone could share the same they shared on Facebook with email. Facebook just did it better. And I think that's what PS4 has done, and that's what Xbox One has done. Not as well as the PS4, but that remains to be seen what kind of apps they're going to use.
You guys are bashing the Xbox One today, I swear.
We didn't bash it.
It really isn't.
We didn't bash it. We said
I don't want to get into the console wars.
We said
isn't. I know we have like two.
Chronos. We said the verdict is still out. Okay.
And Sam said he'd buy one.
No. We said the verdict is out.
Okay.
He's sticking with Sony.
Okay. All right. I want to hear what Chico has to say about this. What do you think about the live streaming?
I think it's great. I think like there's an audience out there, and I think that people having easy access to that is huge. And just like Sam said, it's going to change the content that we see, and it's going to change who is streaming and how they're streaming and what they're streaming. And we're going to get it's going to get flooded with all kinds of good stuff and bad stuff, which I think some of that bad stuff is starting to pop up, right?
Oh yeah, I've definitely in the weeks since that's been out, I've gotten so many just Facebook screenshots of nothing in a game, like literally a blank wall of my friends testing to see if it'll work, and there is nothing to see. I mean, my real question to you guys is, what is the use of this? Like, do we really care to see a million screenshots or 5-second random playthroughs of games? Like, is that going to be something you guys really want to use?
Wait, you're talking about the streaming, right?
I'm talking about, yeah, I'm sorry, the streaming, all of this, really, the social media that these consoles are really pushing for.
Well, I think the answer's
think-
already been given. Kronos, if you'll allow me.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that, you know what? There's two things. Who the hell thought Twitter was going to be something people cared about? And who thinks Vine is something that we're going to care about? Why do people want 7-minute Vine clips? I couldn't tell you. You already have YouTube. You can make it as long as you want. But for some reason, Vine is now a thing. Twitter is a thing. And I think on the same way, this is going to be a thing.
Okay, granted, this is going to be a thing. I mean, there's already the hardware built in for it to be a thing, so it will be a thing. But I have a question of this. We're obviously YouTubers. We put out videos. Do you think this is going to make watching gameplay footage on the internet harder for us? How do you guys feel about this in relationship to what we're doing with the Useless Gamers?
I think we can actually use that, to promote or to stretch out on even more different things or try out different things, just in case you see like Chico, he said he's gonna get a PS4. You never know what games he might want to stream. He might stream it on Twitch. That's always another option to go. It just gives you more accessibility. I know what you're saying that what's the point, but I mean, a lot of people out there do like streaming, and it's just like what Sam said too. It's just how it is right now. Like, streaming is a big thing. A lot of people get their money from it. They actually make a living off streaming. It kind of puts it out there as something major to undertake.
Okay, well, Kronos, you've from dealing with you a little bit more in depth. You know a lot about streaming. Like, who has really made a living on streaming? Like, give me some names of people who are using streaming to really make a living, because I'm not too familiar with these guys.
Well, I mean, if you go on Twitch TV, regular games, like for example, like if we take anything like League of Legends. Let's just take something like League of Legends, right? People like the Odd One, X Special, Well Played, those people, they're making almost half their money off tournaments and the other half running streams. So they would transfer whoever in the team is streaming, and they would get like 16,000 views a day, especially if you're from TSM or Solo Mid or something. You're gonna be getting a lot of views. There's other people out there like damn, what was his name again?
Let me get this straight. So there are people that are doing it, but let me jump to Chico, because you pointed him out. Chico, if you get a PS4, I mean, would you use these streaming capabilities?
I want to say, when I first saw the new controller for the PS4, like when that first came out and I saw that the share button was on there, my first gut reaction was like, that is the stupidest thing I have seen. Why is that on there? What am I going to share? I have never, playing my PS3, I have never ever wanted to like share that moment with somebody, or like share it thinking that somebody will care or watch it. So that said, if I got the PS4, I would probably never share it. I mean, if it meant that I could contribute to, us, like as the Useless Gamers, and we could put more content out for the masses, and if people really wanted to watch that, I would do it reluctantly, I guess. I mean, but I don't know, man. Like, we were gonna have to see. It's the hardware's there, it's set up to work, I guess, but we're gonna have to see if people are going to actually use it and it's going to grow into something. I think that's yet to be seen.
Okay, each of us have kind of different specialities. Sam, I think you might actually watch the most Let's Plays out of anyone in our group. The videos in our group are highly edited. Would you go onto YouTube to watch, or would you go onto YouTube, or would you go onto Twitch to watch some of this footage that these companies are pushing out?
Yes, absolutely, I would. There are several people I follow on Twitch, and I get that email, and if I'm not at work, I'm gonna turn on their live stream. Um, and I do watch a lot of Let's Plays. I think what's gonna happen is that honestly, I think this is a really good thing, and I think we're gonna. And if I'm getting away from your question, let me know.
No, keep going.
Okay, but I think this is a really good thing, and I think that what's going to happen is that YouTube is going to be flooded, Twitch and YouTube, but it's also, I think it's going to be both, really, and they're going to be flooded with crap, absolute crap, of the hordes of little children doing this, because little kids are going to think it's the most amazing thing ever, and it's going to be little kids, a lot of them, who are doing it. They're going to be adults too, like us, who are doing it. But what's really going to be cool is it's going to introduce a whole new audience to everything that is involved in this. There's a lot of people who just play Madden or whatever, or Call of Duty, and never ever look past that into the gaming world. This is going to draw people into the whole concept of, hey, you can watch someone play a video game, you can watch someone who Let's Plays, you can watch someone who streams, and then that's going to get them involved, and there are going to be new up-and-comers. There's the people who are already established, my guys, Total Biscuit and Jesse Cox, and the people at Polaris, PewDiePie, all those people, the Smosh people, whatever, I don't know all their names, the Ogscast, but there's going to be new people who are going to be amazing who do this, and I think that's really cool.
All right, so I'm getting the
I
feel that
agree.
we can keep going. Oh, go ahead, Kronos. What was your question? They get a question
It
from
wasn't
Chico?
really a question, but I just wanted to branch off on what Sam was saying. I agree with him. They're going to be a lot of kids that are going to be on this. They're going to be spamming with a lot of videos, and I think that it kind of overshadows like some of the people that want to do it more seriously, like what Sam was saying with Total Biscuit and the Yogscast and Jesse Cox. Like, these are people that actually make a living off what they do, and Lethal Frag, like, they actually like that's exactly what they do. They stream, they stream different gameplays and stuff. I think it's gonna open, like what he said, a broader range of gameplay. There's a lot of people playing like Street Fighter or any other competitive scene, and they want to see, how does a top player play? Well, what's his perspective? What and that's not even branching off a competitive field. You can do lots of different things with these new content. So
Okay, well, hold on. I want to hear what Chico's got to say about this. Chico, what's your take on this, man?
No, I just wanted to like kind of clear up what I was saying. I was definitely talking about all of those kids that Sam was talking about, all of those random people that are going to be flooding the market and flooding the internet with their useless videos. I think it will be really cool to maybe watch a professional player of fighting games, destroy people. Like, I would totally watch that. I suck at fighting games, so I would not stream that, but I would definitely watch for that.
Okay, so I mean that's fair enough. I mean, with anything, there's going to be some really good people that lots of people are going to want to watch, and there's going to be a ton of stuff that's not worth watching. This is going to open the gates, so it's quite possible we'll have more people who are good at it, and maybe we'll have more people who are terrible at it, and maybe out of those, a few gems will be found in the dust. Sam, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, so like I think another part that's really interesting about this and that isn't being talked about by anyone really is that this is gaming's and YouTube and Twitch's chance, another like really big chance for them to start breaking up the monopoly on media that Hollywood has, that the cable companies have, because it's introducing more and more people to, hey, this is a whole other thing. Like YouTube is big, there's no doubt about it, but it has not replaced television. Netflix is big. It has not replaced the traditional methods of distribution from Hollywood.
Yes.
And this is another step in the right direction of saying, you know what, people can make content without the big boys. We can make interesting content. We can put it up and other people will watch it and people can make a living on it. And I think that's huge. I think that's just absolutely huge.
Yeah,
Agreed. And that's what
That's
we're
another big
here.
part.
That's what we're about at the Useless Gamers, making some great content so you don't have to watch TV. That's what we're about. All right. So anyway, we've got live streaming, and obviously we're talking specifically about games, but this is the light side of the coin. There's also a dark side of that. People who are abusing it. I believe we had a user whose name was Dark Cobra, and he was kind of abusing his power. Essentially, his girlfriend was passed out on the couch with him, and he exposed her breasts. And about after 15 to 16 minutes of pure frontal exposure, the channel went dark, came back, and she was stripped completely naked. So with all of this live streaming, with this push for social media, for video, for the brand new hotness that everyone's trying to jump on, there is going to be abuse. What do you guys think about this? I mean, is this something we need to control? How can we control this?
I mean, I think that they should have really connected to third party users like Twitch and stuff, because they would regulate those kind of videos. Like, for example, you can't do certain things.
Well, this was on Twitch. Twitch
Wait,
eventually
this
caught
was on
on.
Twitch?
This was on Twitch. Twitch eventually caught on and banned Dark Cobra, but not before he changed the whole outlook of streaming, the streaming feature, essentially. This was on Twitch, dude.
Oh my God. Well, now
Yeah.
that is an interesting story then.
I mean, so
I mean,
do you-
the mods, I guess, weren't doing their job, or or the people actually wanted to see that. Like, I mean, somebody would have said something during half the video, like, "Hey, maybe
Well, here's the thing. It's a lot more consoles that are using this. Like, now it's way more. I mean, there are a lot more people using this. Sam, what's your take on this, man?
Well, I think this does show the underside. I am still 100% for all of this, but it does absolutely show the underside of what's going to happen. I mean, pretty soon you're going to see, some horrible frat party with some drunk chick passed out. It'll happen. It's going to come up. And I think Twitch did a really good job. I mean, 15 minutes, as many channels as they got, that's pretty fast, I think, to get to it. Like, not as fast as people would like, but... And then there's another part of this, too. I mean, this whole thing, this is going to provide, especially, like, with the Xbox One, because the Kinect works as a camera, I believe, to an extent, at least. Like...
Yeah.
They're going to now have another way. It's like that, not just sexting. They have another way to get themselves in trouble with nudity and doing inappropriate stuff. I mean, I'm sure we're going to find thieves caught on Xbox, like that. We're going to see that post on Reddit pretty soon. Like,
I can't wait for it.
That could be
Yeah.
a show on Truth TV.
yeah,
Yes.
there we go. Parents
G4.
record their kids smoking pot through Xbox Kinect, shit like that. And
You
then
could actually get some video game related content on G4 again.
yeah. And I think another part of it that's really an interesting aspect is that little children are now going to have the ability to do this, and not only are they going to create more of a record of themselves online that's going to be, embarrassing when they're an adult, but suddenly kids who can perform are going to be a commodity. Kids who can get a following are going to be a commodity that companies are going to go after. And you as a parent are going to have very little to say about how that happens. Because if your kid manages to get 50,000 followers because he's not bad at doing, streaming, and he can make a living off it, there are going to be companies that are going to pop up and contact that user and say, hey, we'll give you a contract. And that's kind of creepy to think that your little 12-year-old kid is going to become something that can be marketed and think of themselves as someone that can market.
Yeah.
There are
John-
there are no successful children YouTubers.
Oh
But
yeah, John Kohler, PlayStation's vice president of marketing, came out and said we are celebritizing gamers,
which
so
is awesome.
which is awesome.
But
But
when
at the
it
same
comes,
time,
yeah, I mean, and this is going to be an issue of how do parents deal with their kids doing this and having access to this? Because I can't think of a single career besides drug dealing that children can, well, and I guess maybe child acting, but that they can legitimately go out and think they could make money. They can do it with this if they do well.
all right, that's absolutely true. And obviously people are on YouTube and on Twitch trying to make it big, and I wouldn't even say we're excluded from that. Chico, do you have anything to say on this?
I mean, not really. It's gonna happen. This has been happening since we've started getting cameras everywhere. It's nothing. It's the same song and dance, and it's just they're gonna find new ways of regulation, and there's gonna be new lawsuits, and I don't know. I'm just
Yeah.
not surprised whatsoever.
Well,
And I think that you have it absolutely right. No one should be surprised, and the response should not be shut it down. The response should be, how do we address this issue? What are we going to do to help protect kids? Not what are we going to do to limit it so no one else can use it? Because that's not going to work. It'll just go somewhere else.
yeah, agreed. So that's what's going on. I mean, I pray for the children of the next generation. I pray that they have that they don't ruin their lives by showing their penis on Twitch live stream while they're playing Battlefield 4. But that's just going to happen, I think. All right, so we're going to move on to our last topic. Our most significant topic. This was essentially found in an article that Sam found. And I found this really interesting. Essentially, game companies are trying to find ways to make more or maybe different money out of their games. So we have these release titles that have all of these microtransactions. And in an article essentially on Eurogamer.net, the question was asked, what happens when free-to-play games aren't free? The article essentially talks about games that are broken, games that are free that are broken by this pay-to-play structure. This kind of, it's free, but not really. I mean, have you guys run across these kinds of games? What do you feel about them?
Yeah, I'll take it. I think it's a huge issue, and I think that this is something that needs to be addressed in gaming and needs to change, because these companies releasing these free-to-play games, okay, it's great that we get access to the game, but the way that they're doing it is just completely stupid. They're putting people who pay for the game and they're putting people who don't pay for the game in the same category, in the same server, and it's just not fun to play. Games that I'm playing that are free to play, I give up. I don't even want to bother with them, because I know I'm playing against somebody who's paid for it or made a microtransaction and gotten better gear than me, or a better weapon, and I can't beat them because of that, because they paid and I didn't.
Would you rather pay for this game, or what would you
No,
rather do?
I'm not saying they shouldn't exist. I'm saying that they should, the model should be reworked. I don't think that you should put paying players with non-paying players. I think that there should be different categories. I think if I'm going to play, for instance, I don't know, maybe Blacklight Retribution. I don't want to play. I don't want to play against people who have invested money in it, and I can't beat them because they invested money. I want to play against people who are on the same level that I am.
Okay, well, Sam, what do you think about this, man?
I'm fully with that, because one of the things that it just kills my level of enjoyment whenever, if I die and I think to myself, if I'd paid money, would I be dead right now? Or, if I was shooting at somebody and I didn't kill them in time, would I have killed them fast enough if I had paid money? And we've talked a little bit about this outside of the podcast, and the one I keep bringing up is World of Tanks. You got to spend money to get the better ammo. And that completely destroys what is otherwise a brilliant game. And you can spend money to get the tank. So, the leveling system, instead of feeling like, yeah, I'm grinding away and I'm going to get that next tank and it's going to be awesome, what instead I have is, I could just spend money, but I don't want to spend money on it. Like, and here's the thing. I like what Chico said. I hadn't really thought about that before, separating it. Like, if I was a free-to-play person and I was only playing with other free-to-play people who weren't paying money for it, that would be awesome. And then what would happen is if you wanted to be competitive, you could go and join the competitive server and pay money to be on that, and then compete with other people at that more competitive level. Like if they made a casual version of World of Tanks and a expert version of World of Tanks, and you had to pay to get into the expert one or something, that would be really interesting to me. Basically, the concept that the game that they're selling me isn't a broken version of the game that they made. I don't mind if, for example, they make, let's say, 10 hours of gameplay out of a game, and only I can pay money, or I can play the first 5 hours for free. If I want the second 5 hours, I've got to pay for it. And it's not that the second 5 hours is like some kind of better version. It's just the rest of it. That I understand, because then you're paying as you go, which is fine. You pay whatever, or you play the first half, and then you're like, I really want to see the story finish. I'll pay the other half. But when you break a game's mechanics to implement ways to make more money, I find that personally really insulting. I think World of Tanks would be a great $20 game, maybe even a subscription game. But as a free-to-play game where you need to spend money to be competitive, I don't want to play it. And that's why, we've all talked about playing free-to-play games, and I've never joined you because I don't care, because it's like I'm not going to enjoy the game. And I know I just ranted, so I'm gonna step back here.
That's all right. That's what you typically do, man. We love to hear
I've got
it, Sam.
strong feelings on this. So,
well, this was your article. I'm curious, Kronos. What do you feel about this, man? What do you think? Do you think this is legitimate?
I think that takes away the whole competitive field of anything you're doing. I mean, I for one would hate to think that I got beat by somebody who happened to spend $5 extra on the game that I just wanted to try out. It's just having an unfair advantage because of money, and then marketing that money into doing nothing for the gamer, like not even giving back, is just I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. As Sam said, I do feel a little insulted when they end up doing things like this. Don't get this confused with like stuff like DLCs and stuff like that, which is all right, because sometimes you might actually get good content and it might prolong the life of a otherwise dying game. But other than that, I think it's just a ripoff to the customer, really.
All right, so here's my thing. All right, I'm a little bit torn, but when I first read this article, I'll admit I'm actually on the side of the developer for this one. I'm actually entirely against you guys. I think there is a bit of a plus for a free-to-play game that has microtransactions. The idea behind the microtransactions is that the game is there. You can play the game. The game is absolutely free. All the baseline content is there. The core mechanics are there. It's still a fun game that you can play. The only thing is that it's incentivizing you if you want to jump up a few levels. Like if you want to skip past some of this introductory kind of working your way up gameplay, you can. I've played a lot of mobile games, so I suppose I'm kind of used to this kind of thing. I've seen it a lot more often. Mobile games usually try to start off free, and they ask you for a little bit of money. You can do it. Sometimes it's ludicrous. Sometimes it's not. But free-to-play games, the idea, the genius behind it, is the fact that you can jump in this game. Is the fact that you can start it off, and if you like it, if you are invested, you can spend money. You can go a little bit higher. You can get a little bit better. You don't have to. If you don't like the game, you can put the game down and stop playing. But this essentially incentivizes you to keep playing it. It's like, oh, this is great. I've got my level 5 armor. It looks awesome. I would like to keep playing this game rather than what we typically do as gamers. And I forget what the statistic was, but most gamers don't finish a game. Why not incentivize people to get a little bit farther?
I agree with you to a certain extent, because I guess it depends on how it depends on how they bring about the free to play title. Like, for example, if you were gonna pay to get this whole new gun which pwns everybody, shooting people through walls and everything, and you have to pay legitimate money to actually get that gun, and nobody else in the game got that gun unless they paid that certain amount of money, then that is a bit unfair to me. I think that that's just a ripoff, and anybody else playing that game is just, I see, is just getting robbed. Now, if that same game were to have, let's say, a skin for a new gun or a new helmet or something that makes you aesthetically look different, or and they're marketing that, I think that's perfectly fine. I think that supporting what a free to game is doing already, and not forcing the player to pay this amount of money to reach this level of gaming, instead paying them, for rewarding them, I should say, for putting a certain amount of money in.
Well, let me ask you this real quick. The thing about that good next gun is that you don't have to pay for it. You can play the game and buy it. You don't have to use real world money to get it. What do you think about this, Sam? What do you think what I'm saying is unreasonable?
Well,
No,
I think
well, yeah.
I think here is where I'd go. If you look at the history of gaming, right? We've got games coming out. I think Pong was the first one. So, okay, whatever. And you kind of look at that. You had two ways that these things were getting distributed. You had the arcades and you had the systems. And, arcades are not, it's weird. They're pay to win, but they're not pay to have the full experience. They're kind of like what I said, like you have to keep pumping quarters in to get to the end, but you don't get less of a game because you put more or less quarters in. It's just you get more time to play the game, basically. And your level of skill can determine how much money you actually have to put in to beat the game. And then, there's the console model, which was we're all used to. We pay a set fee and we get access to the game, and that's that. And then we start looking at these other things that have come up, and I think League of Legends and Team Fortress are pretty good. I have no problem at all with people who want to waste their money and buy a new hat for their Team Fortress 2 character.
Yeah.
And then League of Legends, I think, did it well because they let you have I believe it's like a rotating selection of different heroes.
Yeah, different champions.
Yep.
Like the longer you play, the more money you get. You can buy the champion, but I mean, the only real reason anybody would pay money for that game is to get skins, is to look different. And doing
and
that,
so,
supporting the company, I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all.
And that's totally fine. Here's what they're doing, and it's different from what other things have gone on in the past. And you know what? I just looked up, and it says that World of Tanks is profitable, so it must be working. I just don't like it, but I think here's the analogy I would use. It's similar to saying if you're a restaurant and going, hey, you can have this hamburger, and you can try it out, but we threw some sand in the meat because, it's just free. If you want to pay more, you can actually have the hamburger without sand in the meat.
Okay,
and who's going to do that? That's where the real insult to me as a gamer is.
Okay, hold on.
I think what he's trying to get is that
hold on. Okay, so here's my thing. Here's what I'm saying. We're thinking about this obviously as gamers, which we are. We're not thinking about this from a developer standpoint. Developers got to make money from this game. How does a developer make money from this game? He can charge $59.99 up front and make his money, but people will be complaining that the game is too expensive. Or he can let you play the game, he can let you see what the game is about, and if you like it, you can play harder. I'm curious to see, Chico, what do you think about that? We're not thinking about this from the developer standpoint. What do you think?
But I think you're trying to group together different things there. I think that there's a difference between a developer who puts his game out for free and then takes money from the community from people who want to give him money. I think that that's different. And then there are people like EA who will put out the Old Republic for free, but when I play it, it's a slap in my face because I level slower than everyone else. If I want to use my
Mm-hmm.
my Hearthstone or whatever to return home, there's like a 3-hour cooldown on it. I mean, little things like that. And that's that sand that Sam is talking about. I have no qualms with developers putting in transactions like that or trying to get money from me for their game, for their free game, but don't destroy the game and slap me in the face for wanting to play it. Like that's you're doing the opposite. I'm not going to play your game. So I don't play the Old Republic. I don't play World of Tanks. I don't play League of Legends. I don't do that stuff because I just have no interest in it.
All right, that's fair enough, and I'll concede with you. There is a good way to do it, and there is definitely a bad way to do it. I'm pretty sure, stopping the gameplay, making the game broken. There are bad ways to do it, and there are good ways to do it. But I'll say this: as free-to-play games become more of a thing on Xbox, and especially as online gaming, PC-based gaming in general becomes more of a thing with this next generation of consoles, it'll be interesting to see how our pay structure for games becomes, and it changes how it changes everything from indie devs to AAA titles, how we fund these games. But I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and close this up. You know what? I'll go ahead and let you guys get maybe a good 10 seconds for closing words. You got about 10 seconds. I'll start off with Kronos ending comments.
I agree with what you said. There's a good way and there's a bad way of doing things, especially with these free-to-play titles. About them making how do they make money? I mean, there's other ways to make money than over your customers.
All right, Sam, closing in 10 seconds. Go. And Sam just forfeited his 10 seconds by saying absolutely nothing. Chico, what do you got to say?
My 10 seconds, all I'm going to say is it's a business. Play it, don't play it. It's up to you. Who cares? They're still good. They're going to do what they're going to do to get money. And I don't have to play it, and nobody else does either. Or you can play it if you want. Whatever.
Bam! I love that. You can play it if you want to. If not, go away. All right, guys. So we've been the Useless Gamers. This is our podcast. We do a bunch of other stuff, a bunch of Let's Plays. We're going to try to get into some games today. We're going to try to check out this Disco Dodgeball. You guys should definitely check this out at www.82apps.com/Disco Dodgeball. So we're probably going to try to put a video of that up. But in the meantime, I've been your host, Dice, the captain of all that is sexiness and gaming. With us, we've had Chico.
Yep.
Sam.
Yep.
And ChronoTrigger.
Yep.
This has turned into an episode of King of the Hill, so I will see you guys later. I can't find the stop record button. Where is the stop record button?
It's Control-Shift-T, jackass.
God